A now former employee at the Alabama Department of Education, who once chaired an anti-abortion advocacy group in the state, has now been arrested and charged on sexual abuse charges related to a child. Now, Marty Decole Cole Wagner, who was employed by the Alabama Department of Education in government relations specifically until his arrest on Wednesday, was indicted by a Montgomery grand jury on June 30th, according to court records, for subjecting a child under 12 to sexual contact. Now, the indictment hasn't been made public, so we don't have any additional details on what he allegedly did here. But a source familiar with the specifics of Wagner's arrest said that the alleged victim in the case is under 10 years old. And just as evidence of his booking, here is his mugshot, which is posted on the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office website. And this is something that keeps popping up over and over again. Individuals claiming to care so much about the well-being and safety of children, individuals who want to do away with certain rights that women have enjoyed in this country, in this particular case, reproductive rights. And then it turns out that their personal decisions and personal behavior is anything but showing concern for young people and for children. Wagner had been tapped to head the anti-abortion committee Alliance for a Pro-Life Alabama in 2018, which was formed primarily to push a constitutional amendment saying there was no right to an abortion in Alabama. So I've got more details in a moment, but Cenk, this keeps happening. We keep seeing stories like this.
So look, QAnon's a conspiracy theory that Democratic Party leaders and Democratic politicians in general are all child molesters. And unfortunately, 28% of Republicans believe that. Nearly 3 in 10 Republicans, that's tens of millions of people. But this is about the 200th story in a row that there's someone involved in politics caught as a child molester, and it's a Republican. Almost every time it's a Republican. Now, is it true that all the child molesters in the country are Republicans? Of course not, right? So, and is it true that Republican leadership are secret child molesters? No, that's not true either. But I think that there is a reason why almost all the public people that are caught for this kind of molestation, grooming, etc., are honestly right-wingers. Because the people who do most of the moralizing, I'm going to judge you, and I bet this is going through your head. You're always thinking about molesting children, aren't you? Unfortunately, a high percentage of the time, those folks are the ones constantly thinking about molesting children and trying to hide their own sins, their own crimes, etc. So for the billionth time in a row, it's a Republican that's caught molesting children.
Yeah, look, I just think there's more attention paid to individuals who make their political brand all about protecting kids from predators, protecting kids from groomers. You keep hearing the general messaging from the GOP center on, the left is trying to groom the kids. They're doing this and that to the kids. They're dangerous toward the kids. Then all of a sudden these stories come out, and justifiably they get a lot of attention because whoever claims to care so much about the children, especially in the right wing, tends to have some skeletons in their closet. So I remember back in the day, old days of TYT, we used to have a segment called Republican Sexcapades.
Oh yeah.
Because they would moralize about personal behavior, sexual behavior. And then we've come to find out that a lot of them engaged in all sorts of sexual scandals, right? Whether it was cheating on their wives and pressuring their mistress to have an abortion, or an anti-gay Republican lawmaker getting caught in a gay sex scandal.
Yeah, look guys, I'm exaggerating, of course. I'm doing a hyperbole when I say for the 200th time in a row, it's a Republican that did the child molesting. But I'm not exaggerating when I say in the history of TYT, we have probably covered at least 200 Republican sex scandals. And again, think about why. Why is it more likely that it's Republicans? Because they're repressed. So if you're gay and a Democrat, you don't have to hide it, and you don't have to stay in the closet, and you don't have to do weirdo sexual assaults and stuff. But remember the story about Schlapp just a little while ago that happened, a month or two ago, where he's the leader of the American Conservative Union, the leader of the largest conservative get-together in the whole country, and it turns out he's going and fondling other Republican men and trying to, and what did he say? The guy said he pummeled my crotch.
Oh my God.
Okay, because look, if you have a healthy understanding of your own sexuality, you don't have to do weirdo crimes, right? You just express yourself in a healthy, normal, functional way. But for Republicans and right wingers, they think it's like the biggest crime in the world to be gay. So they repress it and repress it. Same thing, by the way, for a lot of the priests that got caught,
right,
the Catholic
priests. I was just
going
to bring that up, exactly.
Yeah, repress, and then it comes out in the most unhealthy ways imaginable.
Exactly. So what will happen now? Well, Wagner was released on $60,000 bond. Sexual abuse of a child under 12 is considered a Class B felony in Alabama and carries a potential prison sentence of 2 to 20 years. So we'll see how that all plays out. But he is currently out on bond, and he is going to have to face these charges in court.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.